Blaze one for the nation.
KCBR AM Monument. K253AH Colorado Springs.
It's crazy, you heard me?
The new Blazin' 98.5.
Morning.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
It's Superman.
We have a Wonder Woman.
It is way too early for this, guys.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
You're out of your mind.
I'm not crazy.
Then what's all this about?
It's a superhero secret.
Kidding.
It's National
Superhero Day.
Super.
Shouldn't you be wearing a mask?
Mask.
It's showtime.
Welcome into the Sports Guy Mike Show. On a Tuesday, today is National Superhero Day, if you can stand it. Isn't that crazy? National Superhero Day. I don't know about you, but it's funny. It's like with probably because of the movies and the resurgence of it all. And it's weird because it started with that really crappy Hulk movie. But I won't get into that because I don't want to bore people that are not superhero comic book, superhero type movie people. I don't want to bore you to death. However, I do want to give you, because I'm a list guy and I haven't been able to do my list for quite some time. And Ranker.com actually has a list of superhero and villains. And they actually have a pretty extensive list here. But just to give you an idea of the top 10 superhero or villains of all time, oddly enough, Thor and Hulk are not in the top 10. They're not. Neither is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is actually 19 on the all-time list. Hulk is 13. Thor is actually 11. So he almost made the top 10. Now, you can make your own list if you want. You can even hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let us know who your favorite superhero is. And we'll have a post out there that you can actually respond to. But, and just go to @SportsGuyMike, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And so number 10, believe it or not, is The Thing. I know. I was kind of shocked by that too. Number 9 is The Beast. Shocked again. Storm is number 8. Iron Man comes in at number 7. I have to say, Iron Man comics are a big part of me growing up. That was my favorite comic book, was the Invincible Iron Man, if you can believe that. Number 6 is Cyclops. A lot of X-Men in this top 10. Number 5 is Captain America, another favorite comic book of mine as a child. Number 4, Spidey. Marvel's own Spider-Man comes in at number 4. Wolverine comes in at number 3. And I'm sure you guys can imagine number 2 and number 1, right? Batman, Superman, Batman. Well, this list has Superman as number 2 and Batman as number 1. Now, you got to admit, Batman has been around a little bit longer. He has appeared in over 14,000 comic book issues, where Superman just barely over 13,000. So, yeah, kind of crazy. Spider-Man only 12,000. So happy National Superhero Day. And, I'm sure there's somebody in your life that you would consider a superhero. So maybe thank them today. There's a lot of men and women on the front lines at the hospitals doing some unbelievable and incredible things for the people of this country to keep us safe and help people get back to where they were because of this coronavirus. So they are our superheroes as well. Not villains, just superheroes. On the show today, here in a few moments, we're going to welcome in Ross Jackson. He is the managing editor over at Section 60, and he's also part of Saints CSC on Twitter. Basically, that is a SB Nation website, and it's called Canal Street Chronicles. And of course, Ross covers the Saints, and we're going to talk to Ross and find out why in the world would the Saints bring in Jameis Winston, and not just bring him in, but you brought him in for a year. So I had to talk to somebody with boots on the ground. You know how I am. I got to dig deep, and I got to talk to the people that know it better than me. And Ross is definitely that guy. We're going to talk to him coming up here in about 10 minutes. So make sure you stick around for that. But please, 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 please go check us out on social media at SportsGuyMike. And that is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So go check us out. All right, real quick, some coronavirus insanity stories for you to start off the show. Apparently, a woman in D.C. was so scared of getting the virus, she pepper sprayed a bunch of people who tried to board an elevator that she was on. You want to talk about being panic-stricken. First of all, it's a small space, so I'm with her on being a little freaked out with the coronavirus and then people getting into my elevator. I wouldn't have pepper sprayed them, but I understand your plight. To help out the potato industry, people in Belgium have been asked to double the amount of French fries they eat. Apparently, we have an abundance, or a plethora, if you will, amount of potatoes. Yeah, so eat up. Is this what you'll see on your next flight? AirAsia debuted new flight attendant uniforms that look like hazmat suits. If you want to check it out, you can see it on just about any social media platform. It's pretty crazy. New flight attendant uniforms, AirAsia. Check it out. They're actually pretty freaky looking. A school in China encouraged kids to social distance from each other by making them wear hats that are 3 feet wide. Again, these are coronavirus insanity stories, people. Work with me here. 4 people in Thailand were arrested after they broke into a zoo to feed the animals because they assumed that the zoo was letting them starve. Wildlife officials visited the zoo later on and confirmed that the animals are fine. And finally, for your last coronavirus insanity story, a Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, is facing heat after he referred to his state as God's waiting room because there are so many old people. Let me tell you something, Ron. I'm a future Floridian. I'll be down there in a few years. Give me some time. However, I don't think you're going to be the governor of Florida too much longer, my friend. I'm just telling you. God's waiting room? Come on, dude. You got to do better than that, especially with what's going on. Sometimes I wonder about these politicians and where their heads at, quite frankly. But, not the smartest people in the world sometimes. In some NFL news, Chiefs release punter Dustin Colquitt after 15 years, y'all. Punter Dustin Colquitt, the longest tenured member of the Kansas City Chiefs, have been released, according to a source. Now, Colquitt's release was first reported by NFL Network. He posted on a note to his Instagram account that said, in part, quote, "I have enjoyed my time in Chiefs Kingdom. All things come to an end, sometimes sooner than you'd hope. Holding this post for 15 years has been an honor that I never took for granted. Thank you, KC." Now, the Chiefs recently signed 2 punters, Tyler Newsome and undrafted rookie Tommy Townsend. The Chiefs saved $2 million against their salary cap by releasing Colquitt. Colquitt, who is 37 years old, joined the Chiefs as a 3rd-round draft pick from Tennessee in 2005. He punted in Kansas City for 15 seasons, made the Pro Bowl twice in 2012 and 2018. He was the only Chiefs last season who played for the team before Andy Reid was hired as the coach in 2013. Colquitt's final game for the Chiefs was, of course, the Super Bowl victory over the San Francisco 49ers. His father, Craig, And brother Britton also punted for Super Bowl winning teams. Greg Colquitt, of course, punted for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Britton Colquitt, of course, punted right here in Colorado for the Denver Broncos. You got to admit, though, man, check that. 15 years? I mean, you want to talk about having some stability. That's pretty awesome to have held a job that pays that much money for 15 years. I mean, granted, you got Tom Brady, 20 years with the Pats, but we're talking about a punter. This is one of the least polarized, least glamorous of probably any position in the NFL. You're a punter, dude. I mean, it takes skill. Don't get me wrong, but 15 years, you got to be. It's not that hard of a skill set to obtain and to master, but I will give Dustin credit for being able to hold out and keep that job for 15 years. Kind of sad to see that, though, because you kind of feel bad for a guy. You're like, wow, they kept around 15 years. What did he do to make everybody mad? No, he's 37. He's probably just not that guy anymore, and it's time to move on. And they proved that by going out and getting two other punters, which pretty much solidifies it. And, it's the writing on the wall sometimes. And it couldn't be more obvious than, hey, we just drafted two more punters. You might not have a job. Just saying. Sports Guy Mike Show, KCBR 98.5, 95.7, AM 1040. Keep it locked right here. We will be back momentarily. We're going to take a quick break, pay some bills. And then when we come back, we're going to talk to Ross Jackson. He is a writer for Saints CSC. And, of course, that's Canal Street. That's Canal Street Chronicles. And he covers the New Orleans Saints over there. We're going to talk to Ross about what in the world is going on over there. They extended the contract of one quarterback and went and picked up another one for a whopping year. We got to talk to Ross about that and find out what in the world is going on in New Orleans. We'll be back right after this. Keep it locked, Joe.
Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is a licensed and accredited OBH treatment facility providing people services in the criminal justice system for over 6 years. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is located on 1826 East Platte, on the corner of Platte and Union, where the counselors are not only licensed and accredited, but also have life experience. They offer court-ordered DUI classes and any mandated court-ordered treatment. Use the promo code RADIO and pay only $20 for your initial intake fee for level 2. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling, where we help you feel better so you can get better and live a successful life.
Are you a first-time home buyer having trouble finding the right realtor that fits your needs? Well, look no further. Call Brandy Mendones with Keller Williams Clients Choice Realty at 719-291-4678. Take a journey into real estate with a top-notch company and a top-notch hands-on realtor that has your real estate success in mind.
I've been in the Colorado Springs area for 14 years, and I love experiencing everything the beautiful state of Colorado has to offer. I've raised my children here and would love to help you find your next home in Southern Colorado.
Call Brandy at 719-291-4678 with Keller Williams Clients Choice Realty, where
home and happiness happen.
Having car problems? Maintenance coming up on your vehicle? Don't gamble your money away at other mechanic shops. Come to All Service Auto. At All Service Auto, you get the quality workmanship and parts that you demand. Professionals at All Service Auto strive to make your experience the best you've ever had, from beginning to end. 10. Everything from engine replacements to tire rotations. All Service Auto can get your vehicle back on the road and driving like you want it. No job is too big or too small. All Service Auto works on all makes and models, making them your one-stop mechanic shop with affordable prices and customer service that is leaps and bounds above the rest. Make your first choice All Service Auto, located at 3455 Shelton Loop, right near the intersection of Platt and Shelton. Call to set up your next appointment at 719-573-0292. Taking care of vehicles and the people who drive them. All Service Auto. Call now, 719-573-0292. All Service Auto.
Due to recent events with COVID-19, Liberty Tax now can do your tax return remotely. Give them a call at 866-871-1040 or visit them online at libertytax.com. Type in your zip code to find your nearest Liberty Tax office today. That's 866-871-1040. Liberty Tax, where you do life, they do taxes.
When you bring your taxes to Liberty Tax, we'll handle it. No matter what you throw at us, no matter what you need, no matter what. And we're so confident we'll do a great job. You'll want to bring us your friends, your family, your loved ones, your neighbors, your co-workers. You may even want to bring us everyone in the world. But please don't. We're not staffed for that. Liberty Tax. Bring it. We'll handle it.
Hey, Bill, sorry to hear about your car accident. How are you doing?
Not good, Mary. My neck is killing me.
Have you found an attorney for your claim yet?
You know, I went to one of those guys that you see on TV all the time, and they said my claim was too small.
You need to call McDowell Law Firm. No claim is too big or too small. They specialize in criminal defense, DUI defense, and of course, personal injury.
I need that number.
You can call them at 719-227-0022. That's McDowell Law Firm at 719-227-0022 or online at McDowellFirm.com.
Thanks, Mary. I'm going to call him right now.
Blaze one for the nation.
KCBR AM Monument. K253AH Colorado Springs.
It's crazy, you heard me?
The new Blazin' 98.5.
It's Tuesday. You've been in quarantine for so long, you don't even know what day it is. Why don't you take a shower or at least change your pajamas? And don't forget to brush your teeth. It's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Here on the Sports Guy Mike Show, KCBR 98.5, 95.7, AM 1040, and of course online at SportsGuyMike.com. Chris Braden, nice of you to join us today.
Can you hear me? Is this thing on? Check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I can hear you, weirdo. I love your donkey. I mean your horse that's behind you.
That's
there.
Miles, man.
I know who it is, bro. I've only been out here for 20 years.
Yeah, Miles isn't that old though.
No, I know.
We only had Thunder, I think, when I was a kid.
We got to work on your lighting now. Maybe I might have to come over and help you out.
There's
with your
a
lighting.
window right there.
And you have nothing
That's
covering it, do you?
No. Dude, that's the least of my worries. I spent all weekend getting everything set up, and it's not decorated or nothing.
Right.
But I guess what I forgot, dude.
What?
You're gonna laugh.
Uh-oh. What'd you
Power.
forget? Hey, the most important thing when it comes to a home studio.
Yeah,
Power.
So I will tell you, I have like 50 extension cords over here.
Running from the other room into that room.
Mm-hmm. Well, from the ceiling, so.
Oh, even
I'm not
better.
sure how safe that is.
Nice. I was just going to say, OSHA, beware. They might be knocking on your door any day now. All right, Joe.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with us, making us part of your day. Sports guy Mike, Chris Braden hanging out with you. Like I said, the Saints, we're not quite sure what was going on. Jameis Winston was kind of the wild card with how many of these quarterbacks were left sitting out there along with him, Cam Newton. And you know how I am. I got to get the skinny. So I contacted Mr. Ross Jackson. He is a writer over at Canal Street Chronicles. We got to know what's going on over there. Why in the world would Ireland and them want to bring Jameis in for a year? So welcome to the show, Ross. Thanks for taking the time, buddy.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Always a pleasure to be able to hop on and give a chat like this, man. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. Hope y'all are doing well and staying safe.
Yeah, you too, man. It is that, it's that weird time, man. Some places are opening up, and that's a whole nother story. But thanks for taking the time. So tell me what's going on. Why would they think, or even, because for me, I look at it this way, Ross. I'm like, why would Jameis go for a year and sit behind Drew? Because it just doesn't seem like Drew is ready to move on. Plus the fact that, Taysom Hill just got 21 mil. So you have him, and you're going to go out and get Jameis. I didn't understand why Ireland, kind of came to his aid and said, "Oh, Jameis is going to learn from the best coaches," and I get it. I really do. But why?
Yeah, I think that the perspective that Jeff Ireland brought up is very much the Jameis Winston perspective of like, I get to come in for a year, work with under the tutelage of Sean Payton, work with Joe Lombardi, work with Pete Carmichael in terms of coaches, quarterback coach, and offensive coordinator. And I get to learn directly from Drew Brees and sit in a quarterback room with him. So this whole offseason, or really this whole season, this 2020 season, looks like for Jameis Winston, it's becoming less about how much money he can make. And all the starting jobs have really started to dry up. And for the most part, this is kind of quarterback grad school for him, because he came into the NFL with Tampa Bay and immediately got thrust into a position to where he had to win. And you could see that he has tools, but just not everything was there, right? He didn't have the opportunity to just sit back and kind of develop, maybe look back at maybe some guys like Patrick Mahomes, for instance. I'm not comparing the two, but you know what I mean? He had a year off before he jumped into the starting role. And so I think that for Jameis, that's really important for him. For the Saints, from their angle, yes, Taysom Hill is expected to be the guy because of those $21 million that he got over that 2-year contract, 16 is guaranteed. So, so they're very much paying him to be the next guy. Pretty much probably starting in 2021 is what we're mostly expecting at this point, is that Drew Brees is done after this year, especially with how close he came to retiring this offseason anyway. And so from the organizational perspective, it's more about if Taysom Hill gets hurt, still maintaining his offensive role as a receiver and as a running back, as a tight end, as a blocker, all of that, then they need somebody viable that could potentially step in if they need an emergency quarterback. Jameis Winston can be that guy, hopefully at an improved click, if he has the time to continue to develop behind those guys.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, it's like, how fast is, Jameis going to be able to pick this up? Rumor is he's not the brightest bulb in the room, but for a guy that threw that many touchdowns and that many yards, let's just stop worrying about those stupid interceptions. It happens. He was in a system that just wasn't conducive for him. The coaching, it was, it was a mess, in my opinion.
Yep.
But to bring Jameis in, it almost seems like this is going to benefit Jameis even more than it benefits the New Orleans Saints.
There is an element of that because it does put Jameis Winston in a position to where he can do much like what Teddy Bridgewater did, hopefully without having to come in for 5 games of relief, of course. But it does put him in a position to sort of replicate the Teddy Bridgewater model of, joining the Saints for a short time and then being able to go and take a starting position and then become, a paid starting quarterback in the NFL. But it does have some payoff for the Saints. They do get that insurance, much like they had with Teddy Bridgewater, which they ended up having to fall back on. And because the Saints waited until after Monday's end of day with the NFL League office to sign Jameis Winston, he'll now count toward the 2022 compensatory pick formula. So if he gets signed by another team and gets a lucrative contract, that could be as high as an extra 3rd-round pick in the 2022 year for the Saints.
Very nice.
So, Ross, I'm glad you brought up the Teddy Bridgewater thing, because they're all equating the two. Teddy Bridgewater's situation's totally different than what situation Jameis Winston's in. He had a horrific injury, number one. His teammates adored him when he was in Minnesota. Let's just move to Jameis Winston. I wasn't high on him coming out of the draft just because of the weird stuff that was going on before the draft. Number one.
Legs.
Yeah, and number two, it's I'm not sure that his teammates have really bought in on him being that leader guy that he always puts out there like he did in Hard Knocks and stuff like that. I don't know how much of that is real. So do you think this is going to be a similar situation with Teddy? But I think it's just two different things going on. I mean, I don't think one resembles the other really.
Right. What, Chris, you didn't think Eda W was a good leadership speech?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. No. The two situations are very different, but the result can be very similar, if that makes sense. So it's more of a tactic fluidity than a strategic rigidity, right? So it's not the same in terms of what it is that Teddy Bridgewater brought to the team as opposed to what Jameis Winston is bringing to the team, which to me, Teddy brought more to the team when he showed up in New Orleans. But for me and for Jameis, the idea really, in terms of what's similar between the two, is the possible result or the possible outcome of their time in New Orleans. To me, that's really what it is. That's why, like, when it came to Teddy Bridgewater, when Drew Brees got hurt, it made sense to put Teddy Bridgewater in there. The team was very much structured toward a pocket passer at the time. Didn't make sense to flip the playbook to put Taysom Hill out there. I expect that if Drew Brees gets hurt and Taysom Hill is healthy, that they'll give Taysom Hill a run because they now have time to actually prepare for that, if that were to become the case, before Jameis Winston actually gets a run. I look at Jameis as more an option at backup quarterback if something happens to Taysom while he maintains his receiver, blocker, runner role. And on the crab legs front, the good news for Jameis Winston is that in New Orleans, we have mad crab legs. Right. So he's going to be fine. He can have as many as he wants. And in fact, most of the time, they'll probably be gifted to him anyway.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing about Teddy Bridgewater. It was like, we watched him go down. He got hurt. And you were just kind of like, for me, a guy like me, I'm a big quarterback guy. And I'm always like, you sometimes you feel bad for guys that either get hurt or they get drafted and they get put on teams and they're not utilized, the way that you would hope, or the way that they played in college, or the way they played or were utilized prior to their injury. And Teddy Two Gloves was that guy. I was like, man, if he doesn't get another shot, that's going to be for me, and I'm sure obviously for him, but for his fans, like, man, this guy's never going to get that break. Right. And what, thankfully for him, I mean, I know people don't want to hear this, but thankfully for him, Drew Brees went down and got hurt.
Right. No, you're right.
Because those games and him winning those games literally thrusted him back into the eyesight and the peripheral of all these coaches going, wow, Teddy's looking pretty good. Everything is back. So he got lucky. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if Jameis is going to get that lucky again, but I'm hoping at some point that year possibly turns into a 2-year. Drew goes away. Maybe Taysom and Jameis go at it for the starting job. Do you think that would ever happen?
There's certainly a possibility of that. And I mean, there are some people that are absolutely affixed on the idea that, no, it's a 1-year deal. It's only going to be a 1-year deal. But if we've learned anything about the New Orleans Saints, it's that, in particular with Sean Payton, depth charts are always written in chalk outside of Drew Brees. Right. He is willing to shift and play and move and really just kind of go with the flow. And as he mentioned before, you can look back to some of these guys like Zach Strief and Marcus Colston that were brought in later rounds. The phrase that he always used that was imparted on him by Bill Parcells, his mentor, was you have to erase the bias of the where the player comes from. So if that's a late round pick, or if that's somebody that comes in through free agency, whatever, same playing field for everybody. Now, does Jameis Winston have a bit of an uphill battle to fight if he wants to get to that position to where he could challenge Taysom Hill for that heir apparent role? Of course, absolutely. Who wouldn't? He's an incumbent player. Taysom Hill is. He's somebody that knows the system. He's somebody that knows the playbook already. So of course, Jameis Winston coming in is going to have an uphill battle to do it. But to say that he absolutely can't would be, just a little unrealistic, because Sean Payton's going to give anybody that gets an opportunity. I'm sorry, Sean Payton's going to give anybody under that roof an opportunity with this team. So I think that it is a little bit unlikely that he can challenge, just because of what the setup already is for Taysom Hill. But barring an injury, barring any concerns like that, or barring, Jameis Winston just coming in and absolutely impressing everybody with what he's able to do in this new system with a better understanding, and potentially even with the LASIK eye surgery, something we should point out as well. Right. There's the potential that he could get to that place where he could challenge for that role.
Sure.
So,
or at least earn an opportunity to do it.
Right.
Ross, for me, this is just an insurance policy, like you said. Taysom Hill's known for putting his body on the line all the time, and you just never know in the NFL when that's not going to work out for you very well. But I want to move to Teddy Bridgewater. Like right now, if you had to choose between Cam Newton and Teddy Bridgewater, who you taking?
Who am I going to take? Between Cam Newton and Teddy Bridgewater, I think I'm going to take Teddy Bridgewater.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to take Teddy Bridgewater just because of, and the only reason why I say that, it could just be the recency bias of seeing him operate in the Saints system successfully. But I think that that's really the thing for me. The Saints are always very much into high IQ players that are able to come in and learn their system and know their system. You can't get any more high IQ and learning a system than already knowing it, to begin. And so I think that that's really the thing that pushes the edge for me. He's a little bit more of a quarterback in the style of Drew Brees, so the offense doesn't have to operate as differently as you might have to do with somebody that's as fantastic an improviser as Cam Newton is. So that's the only thing that makes it's really no slight to Cam Newton, although there's obviously injury concerns and things like that that also make you a little bit wary. But obviously that didn't stop the Saints from going after Teddy Bridgewater in that instance. But for me, Teddy Bridgewater is somebody that's already familiar. I lean that way.
He's Ross Jackson. He is a writer over at Canal Street Chronicles, and he covers the New Orleans Saints. Ross, let me talk to you a little bit about your draft. You guys didn't have a whole lot of picks between you guys and my Steelers. We really didn't have a whole lot of picks this year.
We drafted for one team.
Right. I mean, you guys went out and you got a big old center in Cesar Ruiz from Michigan, big body guy. I thought it was a great pick by you guys. You also got a outside linebacker from Wisconsin, Zach Bond, I believe his name is. And then the weird one for me had to be the Tommy Stevens quarterback from Mississippi State. I'm just like, okay, now I'm really confused. So out of all these picks, how did you think that your New Orleans Saints did on draft day?
I love a lot of what they did on draft day here. I kind of expected and not expected, let me not say it that way, but I had teased around the idea that the Saints could potentially come in here and do a draft just like that, where they take quality over quantity, right?
Sure.
Because there's not a lot of spots available on the roster. They have a pretty full stable as it is, and they just have a few needs in that way. So if they could address some of those, including linebacker and interior offensive line being among the top two, wide receiver was in there as well, but I think that has gotten a little overblown since the signing of Emmanuel Sanders and some of the guys that they've been developing. Yeah, right. But
Danny.
But if there's an opportunity for them to get Tommy Stevens in particular involved on the field, it's going to be in that Taysom Hill role. And when you look at the Tommy Stevens pick, they traded back into the draft to do that because they had originally traded out entirely. They traded all 4 of their remaining picks in day 3 to get up at the end of day 2 to take Dayton tight end Adam Troutman, who I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
But then they traded back into day 3 at the end at 240 to select Tommy Stevens. And the idea with him essentially is that, look, in 2021, if Taysom Hill is the guy, but they want somebody still in that Taysom Hill type role that can be, that can serve a lot of different purposes, that can sort of be that do-it-all offensive weapon and a special teamer. Tommy Stevens can be that guy. If for whatever reason Taysom Hill is off the roster at some point, then they still have a guy in Tommy Stevens that they have the opportunity to try to train up into that place. He's big-bodied, athletic guy, 4'4", 940 on 6'5", 237, which is just kind of wild. So that's the idea with Tommy Stevens. But the only reason why they traded back in with him is because they were trying to go after him in undrafted free agency, but felt like he was leaning toward another team. So they jumped in to grab him.
Tommy Stevens, very reminiscent for me. He's a very, very Ben Roethlisberger-like, very big guy, kind of ominous in the pocket. But like you said, when I looked at it and then I went back and tried to find tape on him, and I was like, okay, I get it. And like you said, the Taysom Hill thing. So I kind of understood that. The Adam Troutman pick, and that kid's from Dayton, 6'5", 255 tight end. And I watched some tape on that kid. Really good pick. I can understand why you're excited. So, Ross, talk to me about what maybe what this team needs to do to get over the hump. I know with Drew Brees, getting hurt last year, that was kind of it. But you guys went 13-3 last year.
Right.
I mean, you can't get any better than that. You won the the NFC South, with a great record like that. What do they have to do to get over the hump this coming season?
Yeah, I think that 2020 is all about sustaining success. Yes, Drew Brees missed 5 games, but they still managed to win all 5 of those, and it put Drew Brees in position to be very, very healthy and very rested in December. He had one of the better months we've seen in the NFL at the quarterback position of late in that December run where he threw, I think it was 15 touchdowns and either 1 or no interceptions. I can't remember, but he was still out of his mind, very, very good, and an over 70% completion rating during that time as well. But then you got to the playoffs, and I think what you saw them struggle with the most in the playoffs, as well as later in the season, are the things that you saw them address in this draft and in the offseason. Having another weapon opposite Michael Thomas. They solved that. They brought in Emmanuel Sanders. Or let me not say they solved it. They addressed it, right?
Sure.
With Emmanuel Sanders. Jury's out on all of these because we're not even in training camp yet.
Right.
We don't even know what training camp's going to look like this year either.
Right.
The interior offensive line was a big part. The Vikings did a great job replicating what it was that Atlanta did earlier on in the season, moving Everson Griffin and Linval Joseph into the middle, putting speed guys along the interior of their defensive line to attack the weak point of the Saints offensive line, which was in the interior. The Saints have addressed that. They brought in Cesar Ruiz, who has an opportunity to shift into center, while Eric McCoy, who started at center and was drafted last year, could shift to right guard if he beats out Larry Warford. And Sean Payton has publicly said that Larry Warford is going to have to compete for his job. And then you also saw the linebacker position. The Saints just really got chopped up over the middle in the intermediate range for a good portion of the late part of last season when Alex Anzalone, Kiko Alonso, AJ Klein, all out with injury. They bring in a guy like Zach Bond, who is a bit of an outside edge rusher, but they're hoping not to play him like that in the pros because he's 6'2", 237, 230 something. And so he's a little bit undersized as an edge rusher in the NFL. They really want to work him off as an off-ball linebacker, Sam Mike Will, whatever works for him, and then get him involved in the passing game. And so that will help that short intermediate midfield area for them.
Nice. Kirsch, you got anything else?
I was going to say, so Ross, let's address the elephant in the room. What are your thoughts on Tommy and Gronk?
I love the NFC South this year, man. And I know that maybe it's just a little bit of a sadistic type of a viewpoint or maybe masochistic type of a viewpoint on my end, but I love competition. I like seeing the Saints go up against top tier competition and everything. And I'm interested to see how this year plays out. I think everybody's pretty excited about the fact that Tom Brady's there. I love the fact that Rob Gronkowski came out of retirement to join him. I just think that what better storylines do you have right now in the NFL than the fact that Tommy is in Tampa Bay, Gronk came out, Jameis Winston went to New Orleans, like Teddy Bridgewater went to Carolina. It's all kinds of wild. Todd Gurley's in Atlanta. Like it's just wild. It's just wild.
It's like you guys are just trading players.
I think too, if you're a Colorado boy, we got Christian McCaffrey, born and raised Colorado boy. Yeah. The NFC South is going to be really fun to watch this year. I think Matt Rule's going to flame out this year. I think that's going to be one of the most fun dumpster fires to watch this year. But
I'm looking forward
to
that
NFC
part.
South is going to be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a reason why they gave Matt Rule a 7-year contract, and it wasn't all about leverage. I think he needs some time.
Right? He is Ross Jackson. He is a writer over at Canal Street Chronicles. Ross, thanks so much for coming on, hanging out with us. You can follow him on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola on Twitter. Go check him out. Ross, appreciate it, buddy. Look forward to having you on again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Y'all take care. Stay safe. Best to you and yours.
You too, man. Take it easy, buddy. All right. Ross Jackson, man. Make sure you guys check him out. I know there's a lot of Saints fans out there, especially out here in the spring. So make sure you guys go check him out. So you just keep doing movements over there, huh?
No, I'm trying to fix the light, but I have to cover that. So whatever.
You're
like, I'm done, bro.
You're just doing whatever you can to try to just make things work. And I see you, dude. I see you.
No, it's all good. It's all good. You know what, man? This is a work in progress. I have
that.
so much time and effort put into this down here.
I know, dude. I did a lot of stuff yesterday downstairs. We're almost there. I
want to show you these sound.
We're almost TV studio ready, dude.
See those? They look like moving blankets.
Okay.
They're actually sound buffering blankets for the basement.
Oh, look at you. Sound buffering blankets.
I have those panels, dude. It's going to look pimp down here soon.
Look at you. I saw your little drapery there earlier.
I have a lot of stuff. I'm ready to roll, man. It's
this
just,
guy.
I got like 5 cameras too, man. I've got this thing hooked up.
Look at this guy.
You can read that. It's a GoPro. Yeah, dude, I'm ready, man.
Dude, we must be on some kind of weird. I just ordered one. I just ordered a GoPro.
It's funny, all this stuff I have. It's like I've had it, so I'm able to just.
Well, I had to get one that you can stream. I know nobody wants to hear about us talking about.
No, they love that, dude. This is people want to learn how to stream with cool stuff. Like, how many Zoom calls have you been on, bro? Like, I've been on a million.
Yeah, way too many. Your mic keeps cutting out though, dude. So, all right, we're going to go to a quick break anyway. If you want to check us out and see more of this stuff, you can go to sportscaster.com. Type in Sports Guy Mike Show. We're on there every day or 5 days a week. You can check us out. And, of course, we're always on KCBR right here, 98.5, 95.7 AM 1040. And we're also online at SportsGuyMike.com. All right, y'all. Keep it locked. When we get back, some more NFL and draft talk. And Chris is in for it. We're going to play a little game called Yes or BS when we get back. Don't go nowhere, y'all.
Hey, Bill, sorry to hear about your car accident. How are you doing?
Not good, Mary. My neck is killing me.
Have you found an attorney for your claim yet?
You know, I went to one of those guys that you see on TV all the time, and they said my claim was too small.
You need to call McDowell Law Firm. No claim is too big or too small. They specialize in criminal defense, DUI defense, and, of course, personal injury.
I need that number.
You can call them at 719-227-0022. That's McDowell Law Firm at 719-227-0022 or online at McDowellFirm.com.
Thanks, Mary. I'm going to call him right now.
When you bring your taxes to Liberty Tax, we'll handle it. No matter what you throw at us, no matter what you need, no matter what. And we're so confident we'll do a great job. You'll want to bring us your friends, your family, your loved ones, your neighbors, your co-workers. You may even want to bring us everyone in the world. But please don't. We're not staffed for that. Liberty Tax. Bring it. We'll handle it.
Due to recent events with COVID-19, Liberty Tax now can do your tax return remotely. Give them a call at 866-871-1040 or visit them online at libertytax.com. Type in your zip code to find your nearest Liberty Tax office today. That's 866-871-1040. Liberty Tax, where you do life, they do tax.
Having car problems? Maintenance coming up on your vehicle? Don't gamble your money away at other mechanic shops. Come to All Service Auto. At All Service Auto, you get the quality workmanship and parts that you demand. The professionals at All Service Auto strive to make your experience the best you've ever had, from beginning to end. Everything from engine replacements to tire rotations. All Service Auto can get your vehicle back on the road and driving like you want it. No job is too big or too small. All Service Auto works on all makes and models, making them your one-stop mechanic shop with affordable prices and customer service that is leaps and bounds above the rest. Make your first choice All Service Auto, located at 3455 Shelton Loop, right near the intersection of Platt and Shelton. Call to set up your next appointment at 719-573-0292. Taking care of vehicles and the people who drive them. All Service Auto. Call now, 719-573-0292. All Service Auto.
Are you a first-time home buyer having trouble finding the right realtor that fits your needs? Well, look no further. Call Brandy Mendones with Keller Williams Clients Choice Realty at 719-291-4678. Take a journey into real estate with a top-notch company and a top-notch hands-on realtor that has your real estate success in mind.
I've been in the Colorado Springs area for 14 years, and I love experiencing everything the beautiful state of Colorado has to offer. I've raised my children here and would love to help you find your next home in Southern Colorado.
Call Brandy at 719-291-4678 with Keller Williams Clients Choice Realty, where
home and happiness happen.
Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is a licensed and accredited OBH treatment facility providing people services in the criminal justice system for over 6 years. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is located on 1826 East Platte, on the corner of Platte and Union, where the counselors are not only licensed and accredited, but also have life experience. They offer court-ordered DUI classes and any mandated court-ordered treatment. Use the promo code RADIO and pay only $20 for your initial intake fee for level 2. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling, where we help you feel better so you can get better and live a successful life.
Blaze one for the nation.
KCBR AM Monument, K253AH Colorado Springs.
It's crazy, you heard me?
The new Blazin' 98.5.
Stand in the place where you live or sit down. Really doesn't matter as long as you stay at home. Stand in the place where you work, not so fast. Only if you're essential like a nurse or fireman. If you are confused, think of your job. Would anyone notice if you didn't show up? Your couch is soft in leather and brown. Your butt is there to sit on the couch. So stand in the place where you live or sit down. Think about infection, wonder why you haven't been. Stand in the place where you work, not so fast. Only if you're essential like a cop or garbage man. Stay in the place where you are. A place where you can do no harm. Do your best to avoid the crowds. Best thing to do is sit on the couch or stand.
Welcome back to the Sports Guy Mike Show. Sports Guy Mike, Chris Brayton hanging out with you on a Tuesday. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, making us a part of your day. Thanks to Ross Jackson from Canal Street Chronicles. Covers the New Orleans Saints. Appreciate that that very informative information that he gave us. We appreciate it.
I really like that guy. He was good. He was really good.
He actually
I like talking about the Saints too. They're kind of fun.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. It's always been I was on this team called Madison Saints here in the Springs in YAL football when I was in 4th grade and
Okay. Right. Okay, you just cut. Oh, there you go. There you go.
So
you were
I don't
cutting
know
out.
what's going on, dude. Yeah, we're on my AirPods now.
So Washington, of course, we all know drafted Chase Young. This kid is 6'5". Okay, he is 6'5", and he actually thinks that he's going to grow even more. And I have a clip from this kid, if you can believe this.
My dad's side of the family, a lot of guys grew late. I know my dad, when he went to high school, his freshman year, he was about 6 foot, 6'1". I think his senior year when he left, he was about 6'6". And I think in college, I believe he grew to be about, his sophomore year, he grew to be about 6'7". And then his senior year, he was about 6'9". Now he like 6'10". So, I mean, he grew late. It's a possibility that I can grow late. A lot of people talk about my growth plates. I still, some room. But I don't feel like it will affect my game. I feel like, it's just something I would adapt to. Just, staying flexible. Obviously, if you're tall, you got to be a lot more flexible. But I don't think it'll affect my game at all. I'll be the same person, whether I'm 6'7" or 6'1". You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'll be the same. I feel like
Dude, this kid is 6'5". His dad went to 6'10". Can you imagine with the athletic ability, the football skills that this kid has, that he's going to go from 6'5" to 6? I mean, I don't think he'll go to 6'10", but I could see him maybe sprouting an inch or two. And I don't think it's really going to make any kind of difference, to be honest with you.
Would it be better if he got to 6'10"? Like, honestly, like I was thinking of Scottie Pippen. Do you remember when he was when he got to college? I think he was like 5'9" or 5'10" his freshman year in college. Right. Then he grew. I think he ended up being 6'7". So that helped him because he kept his guard skills and all that stuff. But height doesn't always help.
It does in a certain situation. I don't know if this is going to be something that, and that's always a knock. If a guy comes in or he gets, he comes out of college and he's drafted really young and he still has, some room to grow. Some of these guys come out, they're, 19 because they got into college when they were just, they were either 17 or just 18. And these guys are coming out there 19, 20 years old. Look at Juju Smith-Schuster. He's grown an inch and a half since he's been in. So, for this guy to grow an inch or and a half, probably not a big deal. However, if this kid does get to 6'10", that's 5 inches. I really don't know if that's going to be that big of a deal. It may hinder him. It may throw him off balance a little bit at first. It depends. Is he going to shoot up overnight, or is it going to be a gradual thing? If it's a gradual thing, it'll be fine. But if it's something that happens overnight, there's going to be problems. I don't care what you say, because my oldest son did that. He went from like 5'9" to 6 foot, like in a matter of days, and he was like Bambi. He just wasn't really sure what was going on. You know what I mean? So for a guy to go from 6'5" to 6'10" overnight would be detrimental for him, and he would have to work on some adjustments. But an inch and a half, not so much.
Let me tell you a story. So I have a friend that was a quarterback in high school, and the only big school that was recruiting him was Wyoming. And the knock on him was he was 5'10".
Right.
So between his senior year in high school and his freshman year in college, by the end of his freshman year in college, he was about 6'3". And it didn't hurt him because he was already kind of in his man body. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He already kind of had like a stout frame, and he grew, and it helped him. And he realized, even though he started at Wyoming, he hated Wyoming, so he left, went to a JC, and then went to some other schools. But yeah, I think you're right. When they're young and they're still like wiry, that's an issue. I think if you're older and you're already you're kind of getting into your man body already, I think you'd be fine.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, you know, and I'm actually really excited to see this kid play. You know, all the attributes that he had in college. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're gonna. You know, is he gonna be like Joey Bosa? Everybody's like, oh man, he's gonna be better, and he's got a better skill set and this and that. So it's gonna be really interesting to watch this kid.
Why do we have to put that on guys though? Why do you have to be better? I do too. And that's the thing with me. It's like, is Jerry Jeudy gonna be better than Julio? I hope he's as good as Julio. Let's start there.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, we didn't get a chance to talk about this yesterday. But, you know, I sat and I watched as much as I could possibly stand. And like I said yesterday, which was literally day one for round one on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then on Friday, I literally watched the second round and I was out. I must
be a degenerate because I recorded it and watched every hour.
I sat there, and after that second round into the third round, I did something that I haven't done in years, and I turned it off. I watched less of it this year than I ever have, even though,
with no sports?
Even though it was up 30 to 40% for every round.
Well, the Steelers didn't have a ton of picks, so that's
one
reason.
We had plenty of picks. It was just they didn't have a pick in the first round.
Right. I guess.
For me, I sat there, and every time Steelers made a pick, my phone would beep, and I'm like, okay, cool, and I check it out. And so I watched less, even though America watched 30 to 40% more of the draft than they did last year. For me, I was just kind of like, whatever. There was, it was funny the first few times when he had people booing behind him on the TV.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, okay, now it's just kind of stupid.
Did you see how he tipped the lineman for the Miami Dolphins?
My God. Yeah, we got two of some help, guys.
Yeah. And then the Broncos, they couldn't even fill all the little boxes. I was like, that's weird. Did you see they had little Bronco heads and not a lot of people? It was weird to me.
First of all, did you notice that one of the times when they had a pick, they used the cheerleaders?
Yeah.
They used the cheerleaders because they didn't have enough people to come in. I'm like, what's up with that?
Well, I'm going to just say that's a Bronco thing.
So you guys went out. You got Jerry Jeudy.
Yes.
You went out and got KJ from Penn State, another wide receiver with the second pick.
Yeah, which I loved because everyone went crazy. Like they were all mad, and I was like, oh, I like it even more now. I'm like, okay. And then you went and got a corner, which I understood. Then they went and got a center. That's the number one center in the draft, and they lucked into that because there was a good chance he wouldn't. Yeah, he wouldn't have been there. There was a good chance he wouldn't be there because the Broncos the last few years have had they moved up, last year to get Drew Lock, but this year they just kind of stood there and just let things fall to them. And I think the tight end from Missouri, Drew Lock's boy, that was a steal. And then I am super excited about Mutai. I know he has a major injury history, But if you're having lower extremity injuries, the guys that come back from that the best are offensive linemen. And this guy has just a nasty streak. And he's not going to be like a factor at all this year.
No.
But that's one of those guys, like in the 6th round, you're like, oh, I see it. And when you go watch his tape, it's like watching The Blind Side, man. He's a nut. And I just love it.
He is. And I like Natan. I really do. And I kind of looked at his tape after you guys picked it, after I got, because I was getting notifications for a couple different teams that I was keeping an eye on. And of course, Denver was one of them. And when I watched the tape on this kid, I was just kind of like, wow, this is really good. But then I heard about the injury and I was just kind of like,
yeah, he only played like 16 or 18 games in his whole college career.
I don't know if this, I mean, yes, does that make a hungrier kid? Absolutely. Fresno State, not a real, didn't come from a big school.
No,
so,
but he's new to football. He came to the U.S. He was liberal. I think he was from, was it Fiji or something? But
I think so. And the nice thing about that, Chris, you just made the perfect point. You were just like, he's new to football. This kid, even though he's played college, he can still be molded. You can still almost use him in the college form and use him as NFL clay now. That doesn't happen very often.
No,
at all.
His interview was amazing. He was all smiles, laughing, just so excited to get an opportunity because, like, if it wasn't for the injuries, and we can say about that, a lot of guys, whether it's like 3rd round through the end, the injuries, that's why you're dropping. But just his straight tape and just his skill set, that's a top 2 round guy if he doesn't have all those injuries. But God bless him, dude. Those are devastating injuries he had too.
Oh, yeah. So, and then your other one was Derek Tuzikia, or however you pronounce it, offensive lineman out of North Dakota State. So you went and you got a center, you got an offensive guard, you got 2 offensive linebackers. Not too bad, but they also went and got 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, which I thought was a little bizarre. Do you think they did what they needed to do, or do you think that there's still some things on that offensive line that they need to address?
I have faith, and as well as anybody, Mike Munchak is a wizard, and he didn't change everything overnight with the Steelers. It took a couple of years to get where he wanted, but they brought in the center, they drafted him, they got Glasgow, they got our boy on the left, and so they love Dalton Reisner. They love the tackles for some reason. Let's just, let's quit complaining about the tackles. Mike Munchak and John Elway love the tackles. If Jawan James can get his poop in a group and play games, and then Garrett Bowles, like, let's be honest, Drew Lock was great for Garrett Bowles. Like, Drew Lock is not a sitting target. He's not going to sit there like Joe Flacco. So Garrett Bowles played great the last 5 games, maybe a lot of that due to Drew Lock. So I think really, like, this year, it's like, okay, let's see what we got because we spent a lot of money on Juwan. We kind of like Garrett. Let's see what happens. And I don't know about you. Garrett Bowles is like a great athlete. He's a really good athlete, but they're doing a different blocking scheme this year. We're not doing all that zone blocking.
Right.
So let's just see what happens. I think, I'm not worried about it. I think the interior of the offensive line nowadays is where the issue is because you just get rid of the ball so much. Just listen to Von Miller, man. He's got to get to the quarterback in less than 2 seconds.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm not worried about it. I think they did a good job. I think they got the speed. I think the Raiders, I wanted to talk about that. The Raiders did so much of a Raidery thing by taking Ruggs the first. I'm like, you have Lamb, you have Judy, and you have Ruggs. I like Ruggs, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But that being said, why are you taking him?
Yeah.
Why? That's dumb. And then they reached for a bunch of other people. And you know what? The Raiders, the Bronco beating the Raiders at the end of the year last year was the reason those picks were so spread out.
Yeah.
The Broncos win. So they did a Raidery thing, and the Broncos ended up with the guy they would have picked in the first place. So it was a win-win for Denver.
It was. No, yeah. I thought it was a productive draft. I don't think it was necessarily the smartest
I gave it a
picks.
B. Yeah.
I don't think you guys needed 3 freaking wide receivers.
Well, the one
Just
I don't
saying.
know if you've
I thought
watched
Jerry
this,
Jeudy was enough. What?
I don't know how much you watched KJ Hamler. I watched a little bit, but I would say that was the one that left me scratching my head because there was some other wide receivers there, like LaVisca, you know, guys like that I thought have been a little better, but they're looking for a guy to take the top off the defense. That being said, you got Jeudy and got Cortland. They can run deep routes too. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if Drew Lock will be able to get the ball out of his hands in time to get it to him. So I don't think that you're going to see a whole lot of deep routes being run by either one of these wide receivers.
But we don't care. We just want to have a fun offense. Move the ball. Quit scoring 17 points or less. Come on, man. This sucks. It's like watching paint dry. Stop it already.
Yeah, you guys need to get back to scoring 30 points per game.
Thank you.
Definitely something you guys need to strive back to. Today in sports history, the first NFL, the NFL chose Canton, Ohio, as the site of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That was back in 1961. In 1971, Hank Aaron hit his 600th career home run, and one of my favorite Yankees of all time, back in 1985 on this date, Billy Martin was named the manager of the New York Yankees for the fourth time.
I was going to say third. Okay,
fourth time. He was unbelievable.
Man. I loved watching him and Steinbrenner just go at it all the time. It was like, if we would have had the media like it is today, dude, it would have been just crazy stories. TMZ would go nuts every day.
Oh, dude, they would have loved those two. Loved them. Sports and celebrity birthdays for April 28th. The beautiful Jessica Alba is, I know, she is 39 years old today, and she still looks amazing.
She does.
The always lovely Penelope Cruz, 46 years old today. She's getting up there. She's still
they're in my age wheelhouse.
Right. Here's one for you. Bridget Moynihan. She plays Erin on Blue Bloods. She plays Tom Selleck's daughter on Blue Bloods. She is 49 years old today.
You watch that show?
I do. It's one of my biggest guilty pleasures. I've been watching it since episode 1, season 1.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been watching it the entire time. It's a great show. Love it. West Coast hip-hop pioneer and rapper Blow the Whistle, Too Short, is 54.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. Dude, that was back in the 80s and 90s, man. Good for Too Short.
I can't believe that Jay Leno is 70 years old, dude.
I don't know, dude. He's had that white hair since he was 30.
I know. And the vivacious Anne Margaret is 79 years old today. So happy birthday.
Good for her, man.
To all
Kicking
those
around at 79. Look at her.
Dude, I'm telling you. 7 days until Teacher Appreciation Day. 12 days, y'all, until Mother's Day. You guys better get those flowers at least ordered today if you want to get a decent price on them. I'm telling you. The longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. And 24 days until Memorial Day weekend. Today is also National Blueberry Pie Day. Yes, I don't do blueberry. Sorry.
Why? It's good for you. It's an antioxidant, bro.
Apple.
Come on.
And today is also National Great Poetry Reading Day. You know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. We're going to get out of here. Chris, anything you want to say to the nice people before we get out of here?
Poetry, moving my hands a lot. No. 21 Jump Street reference. Anyway, go out there, be awesome. Thanks for having me on, Mike.
You got it, buddy. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel right here on KCBR 98.5, 95.7, AM 1040, and of course online at SportsGuyMike.com. As I say around here all the time, don't sweat small stuff. Ryder, see ya.
Blaze one for the nation.
KCBR AM Monument, K253AH Colorado Springs.
It's crazy, you heard me?
The new Blazin' 98.5.